Happy Halloween. Welcome to this update. So let's see what's going to happen for parts of Asia, especially because we're monitoring the tropics in a few areas. So let's see. So now we had that cyclone that went to India a few days ago. The remnants are still floating around central to northern India, and there's like some snow in Tibet and the Himalayas already. So there's also this broad circulation, the Arabian Sea. It's not a consolidated tropical cyclone, but it's a broad disturbance there. It's not expected to become much. There's the Western Pacific, some disturbances along the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, and a few of them might develop. So let's take a look here. Here, the European ensembles. There's like, let's just go to 240 hours. It does show a lot of support around the Philippines and Western Pacific in those areas for potentially a tropical storm or typhoon in the next 2 weeks around the Western Pacific. So please be aware, especially for central southern Philippines, we might have a typhoon. So let's see the GFS. It shows like a similar thing. A little more spread out. The GFS has some members kind of going north and out to sea as well, but has a good portion of them crossing the central Philippines. So better watch this region closely, central southern Philippines. And here, like there's the Google AI as well, shows especially in this region here along the central Philippines, that uh, there's strong signal for something to cross right through the central Philippines. But after that, you are seeing those other members here. Something might come after this system in a few days. So this first system might cross through the central Philippines and go towards Vietnam, the South China Sea. But after that, there are more members showing stuff next week and potentially the other week. They might approach the Philippines or go north. So we are monitoring two systems of the first one that might cross through the Philippines and one after that. So this one now is invest 98W and it's still a broad disturbance with a few thunderstorms. But the GFS ensembles, like I showed you, that takes it through the central Philippines and all the way to Vietnam. And there's the Canadian. The Canadian is kind of weaker, doesn't have that much support, but it does show this going slightly further north than the GFS and the Euro. So better monitor as well. And and so let's see if there are any more disturbances. There's the one in the Indian Ocean, there's the Bay of the Arabian Sea, sorry, and there's a lot of thunderstorm activity with these some high cloud tops, but it's not forming into anything impressive there. So let's see some operational models for these areas. And there's like Western Pacific, and you just saw what happened with Hurricane Melissa in the Caribbean. So when there's a tropical cyclone, you should always be ready and prepared. I'm not saying this will be that strong, but you should always be prepared. So it shows here like the GFS, this goes and it starts forming up near the Western Pacific to the Central Philippines and goes right into the Central Philippines there, into the South China Sea. It might approach Vietnam, and the GFS eventually takes it into Vietnam as there, and later forms another one near Guam, the Mariana Islands. This goes, and the GFS has a crazy typhoon down the road there in the Western Pacific. I really don't trust this. You know how crazy this model is with tropical cyclones. But let's see the European here because there's also some strong signal for something to come after this storm. So it shows the disturbance tries to develop near Palau, there in the Western Pacific. The European does turn this into a formidable tropical storm by Monday, November 3rd. And this goes into the Philippines. That's like category 2 going towards major typhoon there. This goes central Philippines, central southern Philippines to the South China Sea, still as a category 1, category 2 typhoon, right straight into Vietnam and Cambodia. So it's not often that the European has a scenario like this because it's usually conservative. So this is something really to watch like right now if you are in those areas. This hasn't formed yet, so you don't need to worry much now, but definitely make some small preparations if you are in the central Philippines. The icon is very weak, it barely forms a tropical storm, maybe the one after it, but the icon's not so good with tropical cyclone, so keep watching. There's the Canadian, it does show that the disturbance starts forming to a tropical storm. It might become a typhoon before it reaches the Philippines. The Canadian is a quite strong typhoon and goes straight into the South China Sea there. The Canadian forms another one after it. So let's first focus on this first one, and then after it passes everything, we will have another one potentially to deal with. So please be aware there in the Philippines, those areas, and we'll keep monitoring it throughout this weekend. So here, the sea surface temperatures in those areas are still around 30 degrees Celsius, 30 to 31 in a few hours, and this is very hot for tropical cyclones, like a lot of fuel. So this does have fuel to strengthen a lot if there's no wind shear and no dry air. So better watch it very closely for the Philippines. So, and there's something not tropical that's worth talking about as well. There's in Japan this low pressure system from China in southern Japan that will dump a lot of rain in the next 24 hours in Japan. So today's Thursday the 30th into Friday tomorrow. So like some heavy rain most of Japan as this low pressure system goes under cyclogenesis and goes north into the Pacific. This goes and like it becomes stronger. This cold front might affect as far south as Ogasawara. And then Friday, Saturday, this actual tropical cyclone goes further into the Pacific and southeastern Russia. So please be aware, and still some meandering moisture in the Sea of Japan after that. So please be aware in those areas because it might cause some strong storms or localized flooding in a few areas in Japan, especially west coast, southern Japan. There will be a lot of rain in metropolitan Tokyo as well. So be careful. The GFS is like 70 millimeters in Tokyo. So be aware and just be careful. And here's some other areas of heavy rain, like in the Philippines. If this typhoon does come, it might bring more than 200 to 300 millimeters, and down the road, even like 400 or more. The European is all the way to 500 in the next 10 days. So better monitor this closely for flooding. In Vietnam, even before this system arrives in Vietnam, right, it shows 300 millimeters from the South China Sea, some moisture there. So be careful with flooding. Vietnam has had many problems this year with tropical cyclones and flooding. And after this system comes, like next 15 days, or I show like 400, 200 meters, potentially like 460 after this system comes. So please be aware in Vietnam, those rains and everything. Also, still some heavy rain around Myanmar, southern Myanmar, a few areas around central, even northern Myanmar. So be aware, more areas there, 149 millimeters, spots in Nepal, some 200 millimeters, southern Bhutan. So still some heavy rain from the remnant of the cyclone in India there. Stay safe in spots in western India because that broad disturbance, the Arabian Sea, might bring some heavy rains in a few areas, western, northwestern India. So stay safe in those areas just in case there might be flooding in a few areas. So be careful. The GFS is like very heavy in Vietnam even before the tropical storm arrives and shows in southern Myanmar as well some heavy rain, possible flooding and some showers and storms in the Andaman Islands, Nicobar Islands, and more areas there near the Indian Ocean, northern India, Nepal, into China, Myanmar. So stay safe in those areas. Be careful. And some areas of rainfall not related to the tropics shows northern Iran, a shower on the coast, even a tiny shower in Saudi Arabia that's localized and shows like a few spots because to the north of Kazakhstan it's mostly just snow in Russia because Russia is already too cold, but there'll be some rain mixed with the snow there and show like in the mountains some more precipitation. So be aware. Here's a good map to show this, like precipitation type shows the white is mostly snow, but there's a lot of rain falling spots of Russia too. So it's not all just snow, but shows like snow, some freezing rain from time to time, central Russia. Those fronts, this is tomorrow night, Friday, there into Saturday, shows some freezing rain. And like spots central Russia, more snow, even some freezing rain in Scandinavia there. So BOR Saturday, Sunday through Central Russia, this goes and still more snow in many areas there in the mountains, all the way to Afghanistan, and like most of Central Northern Russia, more areas next Tuesday, Wednesday, and this is already the middle of next week. So be aware, those areas, snowfall accumulation does show start in the south, a lot in the Himalayas, spots in southern China, northern Bhutan, Nepal, especially in those elevations, central, southeastern China in the mountains. So be aware. Tajikistan, northern Pakistan into Afghanistan shows more snow. Kyrgyzstan and spots there across Russia. So be aware some 30 centimeters. This band across central western Russia into northwestern Russia, some snow as well. It shows more around eastern Russia, the Kamchatka Peninsula, and more areas in far eastern Russia as well. So be aware, and potentially some in northern China as well, into northern North Korea. Some possible snow in Japan. The highest peaks already show some snow central northern Japan next 5 days. The GFS as well, northern Japan and spots of central Japan in 5 days. So be aware throughout these next few days, and especially Russia and everything. The GFS is a similar thing for Russia. So be aware and show like some strong winds in a few areas near the Sea of Japan, those areas, this system. So like this coast, especially on the east coast of Japan, some damaging winds in the East Islands and some areas there, central Japan. Tomorrow, Friday, the 31st, and then shows like spots across North Island in Japan as this thing goes under cyclogenesis and more. There's which 118 km per August, the European, the GFS around some 89 to 90. The icon is further offshore, but it does have more than 100 km per August in those islands as well. So be careful Saturday, Sunday, and this goes into the North Pacific there. And still some gusty winds remain around Japan later next week. So be aware, those areas, those cold fronts and like those extra tropical cycles with snow across Russia can have some local strong winds sometimes. Even in the Middle East, across Afghanistan, Iran, and Kazakhstan, like Friday, kind of windy, does get stronger. Kazakhstan to Russia Saturday, still see some stronger winds central Russia by Sunday, because this low pressure system, and then the front keeps moving east there. Later doesn't show too much of wind there, but still those fronts might be gusty from time to time. And by next Tuesday in Tibet shows some stronger winds, spots in Iran and through Pakistan, Afghanistan as well. So we'll keep monitoring and be aware even after that as well. So stay safe. The temperatures does show in Siberia is extremely cold, right? There's minus 30 degrees Celsius, minus 27. The wind chills might be like minus 40 or even less. The wind chills, so please stay warm there. Be careful. And shows northern China negative temperatures into southeastern Russia. Western Russia is still fine. It's already cold in a few areas, but fine compared to Eastern Russia. It shows like spots in Turkey, in the Caucasus, this is an active temperatures, in the high terrain there, Central Asia, so be aware. And during the afternoon, does warm up in the south, already, still some 37 degrees in Malaysia, in the tropics, still hot, but shows like Friday night into Saturday, still like especially across Russia and those areas, very cold, even central Russia minus 26, spots Siberia to minus 31 degrees Celsius, northern China, most of Central Asia, and into the Caucasus there. In a few spots like in the Arabian Peninsula, in the mountains in Yemen, slightly less hot than the rest, slightly milder, it shows like the Tian Shan, so colder temperatures, northern Japan, northern China. So Friday shows like this warm up during the day in the south, especially southernmost of Pakistan, southern Iran, spots there in western Saudi Arabia too. And if you zoom in very close, a few areas are like even to 40 degrees still in those areas. So be aware. And there's the cold air behind this actual tropical cyclone in Russia Saturday, so it might get colder most of central western Russia because of this. The far west, still no, but most of central to western Russia by Sunday morning, even to -30, still in the east, -32 degrees Celsius. Some feels like temperatures down to -40. So please stay safe. Northern Japan, spots in northern North Korea, South Korea, into most northern China. So stay safe. Please be careful this cold Sunday, then into Monday. It digs further into northern Kazakhstan, western Russia, some active temperatures there, and the higher terrain, northern Iran, into Azerbaijan, Georgia, Russia, and the Caucasus, and Turkey. So be aware, and already getting milder during the night in the Arabian Peninsula. So northern Siberia, even -36 degrees Celsius during the night. That's crazy. Next Monday, please stay warm. And then this cold air just keeps dancing around Siberia there. -33 Monday to Tuesday. So like expanding westward to central Russia, those -25 or less temperatures. So please stay safe. Eastern Russia, barely nearly frozen, and shows more spots to northern China, most of Mongolia, some active temperatures, except the far south, but very cold in Mongolia as well. And Japan already showing the high elevation, so -9, northern Japan, spots central Japan, especially in the mountains in Central Asia. So stay safe Tuesday, Wednesday, and it stays cold there, especially in the north. So stay safe in those areas, and please be monitoring this next tropical system coming, and stay safe.